The idea of falling in love at first sight has been romanticized in movies and books for centuries. It's a concept that's both thrilling and terrifying. The possibility of meeting someone and instantly feeling a deep connection. But what if I told you that I'm about to take it a step further? What if I tried to fall in love with someone in just 24 hours? I never believed in love at first sight. Not in Lagos. Not in this noisy Unilag campus where people only chase GP, fame, and Friday night parties. Love to me was something slow. Something that took years, not minutes. But life, as I discovered, has a wicked way of turning your never into a right now. It was the morning of my matriculation, the day every fresher dreams about. My father had ironed my white gown the night before like it was his own wedding suit. My mother made me swear not to embarrass her by falling on stage. I smiled politely, but deep down my heart was a storm. The university hall was packed. Girls in flowing white gowns looked like a choir of nervous angels. Boys wore stiff black suits that made them look older than their fathers. Cameras flashed. Parents waved like politicians on campaign day. I held my file close to my chest, breathing fast. The crowd was suffocating. I tried to smile, but my lips trembled. Then it happened. The hook of my matriculation gown broke. Just like that. A loud snap. And the right side of my gown dropped, almost exposing me in front of hundreds of students. My eyes widened, froze. Shame burned through me. Before I could run, I heard a calm, teasing voice behind me. "Relax, Mississippi. If the gown no gree you, we can start honeymoon like this. Nobody go vex." I spun around, and there he was, light-skinned, broad shoulders that filled his black suit like it was made for him. His smile was mischievous, the type that carried trouble, but sweet trouble. His teeth had a slight gap in the middle, and when he grinned, it felt like sunlight had forced its way into the hall. I swallowed hard, trying not to laugh, but my shame refused to leave. "You think this is funny?" Snap. He shrugged, eyes dancing with laughter. "Very funny. But don't worry, I'm a professional gown fixer. Been fixing broken hearts since 2003. I gasped, half annoyed, half amused. "You're crazy." "And you're welcome," he replied, smoothly pinning the gown with a safety pin he magically pulled from his pocket. Blink. "You carry safety pin around. Why?" He winked. "Because girls like you keep falling apart when they see me." I burst out laughing before I could stop myself. A nervous, shy laugh. The kind that betrayed how much he was already getting to me. That was how I met Matthew Johnson. As the program dragged on with speeches from professors who spoke like they were reading from stone tablets, Matthew sat beside me. He whispered running commentaries in my ear, making jokes about the vice-chancellor's wig, the registrar's long grammar, and how the dean of students was secretly chewing groundnuts. At one point, I nearly choked on laughter when Matthew muttered, "This speech get part 1, part 2, part 3. I beg. Is this matric or season film?" My nervousness melted. For the first time that day I felt free. And maybe, just maybe, I felt something else too. Something warmer. Something I couldn't name. When the ceremony ended, he turned to me with that same troublemaking smile. "So, Ella Williams, should we continue this friendship till next semester? Or should I prove to you that love can start today?" I raised an eyebrow, trying to hide my blush. "Love. We just met." He leaned closer, his voice low but playful. 24 hours is more than enough. "Let me show you." My heart skipped. I should have walked away. But instead, smiled. And that was how my 24-hour love story began. If someone told me that morning that I'd spend the rest of my matriculation day with a boy I had just met, I would have laughed. But Matthew was different. He wasn't begging for my number like the other boys. He wasn't trying to impress me with fake British accent or car keys that didn't belong to them. He was just Matthew. Bold, playful, unpredictable. After the ceremony, while others were rushing off for pictures with their parents, he leaned against a pillar, hands in his pockets, grinning at me. "So, Ella Williams," he said, rolling my name like it was music. Where are we celebrating? Suya joint, ice cream. Or should we just go and fight Nipa for not giving us light since January? I laughed so hard my stomach hurt. You're insane. Good. Then we match, he said, eyes twinkling. We left the hall, walking toward Lagoon Front. The university campus buzzed with life. Students taking selfies in white gowns, parents bargaining with photographers, traders shouting about meat pie and minerals. I felt awkward in my gown, but beside Matthew, I forgot to be shy. When we reached the lagoon front, the cool breeze from the water wrapped around us. The air smelled of roasted fish and fried plantain from nearby food vendors. Couples sat on benches, whispering sweet nonsense. Some students played guitar, singing off-key love songs. Matthew and I sat under a tree. He loosened his tie dramatically and exhaled like a man escaping prison. Finally, he said. That matric gown almost killed me. I was sweating like roasted corn. I laughed again. His honesty was refreshing. We bought suya from a malam nearby. The pepper was too much, but Matthew chewed like a warrior. I coughed and wiped tears from my eyes while he teased me. Ah, Ella, small pepper and you're already crying. How will you survive Nigerian heartbreak? I don't plan to have one, I muttered, embarrassed. He raised a brow. Really? Then you haven't lived. Every great love story must taste small pepper. As we ate and talked, I realized how easily he pulled me out of my shell. I told him things I had never planned to tell anyone. About how lonely I felt since gaining admission. How I sometimes cried at night because campus life overwhelmed me. How I feared failing and disappointing my parents. He listened, his usual teasing gone. His eyes soft and steady. Ella, listen to me. You're stronger than you think. And anybody who makes you cry, beg, tell me. I will borrow trouble on their behalf. Chuckled. Borrow trouble? From where? From heaven, he said, grinning again. As the sun began to set, painting the water orange, Matthew suddenly stood up. Come on. Where are we going? Yes. To do something crazy, he replied. I hesitated, but something about him made me trust him. We walked to the edge of the lagoon, where students threw stones into the water. Matthew picked up a smooth stone and placed it in my palm. Ella, he said, his voice unusually serious. Make a wish and throw it. But remember, whatever you wish, I will make sure it comes true. Even if it kills me. My chest tightened. His words felt like a promise I wasn't ready for. But I closed my eyes and wished anyway. Wished for love. Wished for courage. Wished for this moment to last. I threw the stone, and it skipped twice before sinking. Matthew whistled. Not bad. But mine will skip 10 times. Skipped once and sank immediately. I burst into laughter so loud people stared. He bowed dramatically. Fine, you win. But at least you're smiling. That's my trophy. By the time I returned to my hostel, it was past 9 p.m. My roommates were waiting with questions and teasing, but all I could do was smile into my pillow. I had just spent one day with Matthew. Only one. But somehow, it felt like I had known him forever. Sleep refused to visit me that night. My roommates snored, the hostel generator hummed in the distance, but my mind kept replaying Matthew's smile. His silly jokes, his eyes when he said, "Whatever you wish, I'll make it come true." The next morning, while brushing my teeth outside, I checked my phone. A message blinked. Matthew. Meet me at Love Garden, 10 a.m. Don't wear white. You'll look like a lost angel. I laughed into my toothbrush foam. What kind of boy texts like that? Yet my heart raced. The Love Garden was crowded with students hanging out after matriculation. Red and yellow hibiscus flowers bloomed wildly, and couples walked hand in hand. I almost turned back out of nervousness, but then I saw him. Matthew stood by the fountain, jeans and a simple polo, arms folded, waiting like he had all the time in the world. His hair was cut low, waves glistening in the sun. He spotted me instantly, grinned, and waved so widely that other students turned to look. Ella, you came, he said, like I had just chosen him above a million people. I muttered. You invited me, didn't you? Yes, but you could have ignored me, he said with a wink. Girls do it all the time. We walked around the garden, talking about random things. Lecturers who looked like they hated students, hostel gist, and funny things that happened during the matric ceremony. But then his tone changed. He slowed down, hands in his pockets, and looked at me with a seriousness I wasn't used to from him. Ella, he began, voice lower. I know this sounds crazy. We've only known each other one day. But something is happening to me. When I'm with you, everything feels right. Like I've been waiting to meet you for years. My chest tightened. My feet froze on the path. Matthew, I whispered. Don't say things you don't mean. I mean every word, he said firmly. I don't care if it's 24 hours or 24 years. My heart has chosen you. And I think, no, I know, I'm falling in love with you. Silence. My ears buzzed with his words. Love. In one day. Sounded foolish. But why did my heart flutter like a trapped bird? I can't do this, I muttered, shaking my head. It's too fast. People will laugh. He stepped closer, his voice softer now. Let them laugh. I'm not asking for the world today. Just one thing. Give me this moment. Give me your hand, your smile, your trust. Let me show you what love feels like. Even if it's only for today. I didn't know when a tear slipped from my eye. He wiped it gently with his thumb, and my whole body trembled. We sat by the fountain, his hand covering mine. For the first time I didn't pull away. I whispered, Matthew, I'm scared. He smiled sadly. Me too. But sometimes, fear is a sign that something precious is at the door. Will you open it, Ella? I didn't answer with words. Instead, I leaned my head against his shoulder. And just like that, the world outside the love garden disappeared. That night, as I lay in bed, I realized something terrifying. It had only been 2 days. But my heart was already no longer mine. The sun burned bright over the University of Lagos campus. It was one of those Saturdays when students spilled across the grounds, laughing, snapping pictures, and living like life would never end. Matthew had promised me a grand tour, though I suspected it would be full of his silly exaggerations. Ella, he said dramatically, pointing at the tall Faculty of Arts building, this is where future world leaders sharpen their skills, including me. You know, if law doesn't work out, I'll become Nigeria's next president. Vote Matthew 2035. I burst out laughing, clutching my stomach. President coup. You can't even iron your shirt properly. Look at this crease. He placed a hand on his chest in mock injury. Ah, that's low. But fine, my first lady will iron it for me. I turned red instantly, smacking his arm. You're mad, Matthew. He grinned mischievously. Yes, madly in love. We strolled towards the lagoon front, a place where couples usually sat to enjoy the breeze. The water shimmered, students took selfies, and the sound of guitar strings floated from a group nearby. Matthew and I sat on a bench, sharing roasted corn he had bought from a roadside seller. He teased me for nibbling slowly. Ella, are you a princess? Who eats corn like it's ice cream? See me now. He bit into his cob with a loud crunch, kernels flying everywhere. Gasp. Matthew, behave. An old woman nearby laughed at us. 2 lovebirds, she muttered. I froze, embarrassed. But Matthew only winked and whispered, You hear that? Even Lagos knows we belong. The day passed with more laughter than I thought possible. But as the sun dipped, Matthew suggested, Let's take a quick bike ride to Yaba. I know a small suya spot you'll never forget. I hesitated. My parents had warned me about Okadas. But Matthew's excitement was contagious. Come on, Ella, he pleaded. Just one short ride. I'll hold you tight. Nothing will happen. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We flagged down an Okada, squeezed behind the rider, Matthew at the back with his arms wrapped protectively around me. My heart raced. Not just from the danger of the bike, but from his warmth against my back. He whispered into my ear, See? Told you. With me you're safe. But fate had other plans. Ojibwa Bridge, everything changed in seconds. A Danfo bus swerved suddenly into our lane, horn blaring. The Okada rider shouted, yanked the handlebars and tried to swerve. But the wheels skidded on loose gravel. The world spun. Screams tore from my throat. Matthew shouted my name. Then, impact. My head slammed against the road, my vision blurred. I felt strong arms shove me sideways, as if shielding me. Then silence. When I opened my eyes, chaos surrounded me. People shouted, cars honked. Blood stained the asphalt. The Okada rider groaned nearby. But Matthew lay on the ground, motionless, blood pooling beneath his head. Matthew! I screamed, crawling to him, shaking his body. Please no, don't do this. Open your eyes. His eyelids fluttered weakly, lips trembling. He tried to smile. Ella, told you. I'd keep you safe. Then his head lolled sideways. No! I screamed again, my tears blinding me. Strangers rushed to help, lifting him into a taxi that someone flagged down. I held his hand all the way to Lagos University Teaching Hospital, praying harder than I ever had in my life. In the hospital emergency ward, everything felt like a nightmare. Nurses wheeled Matthew away on a stretcher, doctors shouting orders. I tried to follow, but they pushed me back. Please. He's my. My voice broke. He's my Matthew. Don't let him die. I dropped to my knees in the waiting room, hands trembling, face wet with tears. The hospital corridors smelled of antiseptic and despair. I sat trembling on the cold bench, staring at the swinging doors of the emergency ward, praying that God would give me a miracle. Every second felt like an hour. My ears rang with the echo of Matthew's last words on the roadside. Ella, told you. I'd keep you safe. I clutched my hands tightly, whispering through tears. Please, God, please don't take him from me. Not after just one day. Not after we just found each other. The doors burst open. A doctor stepped out, his face grave. My heart nearly stopped. Are you his relative? He asked. I nodded quickly. I'm his fiancé. The lie slipped out before I could stop myself, but in that moment it felt true. The doctor's eyes softened. He's asking for you. He doesn't have much time. Be strong. I stumbled into the ward, my legs barely carrying me. There he was. Matthew. My Matthew. Lying pale against white sheets, an oxygen mask strapped to his face, blood seeping through bandages around his head and chest. Yet when he saw me, he managed a crooked smile, lifting one trembling hand. See, didn't I tell you, Ella? Even hospital gown fits me like designer wear. Despite my tears, a laugh broke out of me. I covered my mouth, sobbing and smiling at the same time. You're unbelievable. That's me, original package, he whispered, coughing weakly. I sank beside his bed, holding his hand like I would never let go. Matthew, please don't leave me. Please fight. We've only just started. My words broke into sobs. He chuckled softly. Started what? Annoying each other. Because you've been insulting me since the first moment. Corn princess. I pressed his hand to my cheek, crying harder. I'd take 1,000 of your silly jokes over this. Just stay with me. His eyes softened. Ella, meeting you was the best part of my life, even if it was just 24 hours. You made me feel like I wasn't just another Lagos hustler. You made me feel alive. No. I shook my head fiercely. You'll live, Matthew. You'll live, and we'll laugh about this tomorrow. He gave me that same mischievous smile that had melted me since the first hour. Tomorrow, I was planning to propose with suya stick. Romantic, right? Broke. My cries echoed in the sterile room. The machines beeped slower. His grip on my hand weakened. Don't cry, Ella. Smile for me, please. One last time. Through a waterfall of tears, I forced my lips into a trembling smile. Like this. His eyes glistened, his voice barely a whisper. Perfect. That's my girl. Then the monitor gave a long, sharp beep. His hand slipped from mine. His chest stilled. No, no, Matthew. Please wake up. Please don't go. I screamed, shaking him, begging, pleading with God. Nurses rushed in, trying to pull me away. I fought them, clinging to him with everything in me. You can't take him. Not now. He promised me Suya tomorrow. But Matthew was gone. I collapsed on the floor, my tears soaking the tiles, my heart tearing apart. In just 24 hours I had found love. And lost it in the cruelest way. And yet, even in death, Matthew had left me with something eternal. His laughter, his foolish jokes, his unshakable courage, and his love. It was a love that lived only for one day, but would remain with me for a lifetime. My name is Ella. And I found love in just 24 hours. It was short, fragile, and gone too soon. But it was real. Matthew may have left this world, but he left me with a gift I'll carry forever. He taught me that love doesn't always need years to grow. Sometimes all it needs is a moment. A smile. A foolish joke. A heartbeat. So if you're watching this, don't wait. Don't waste time holding back your feelings. Love while you can. Laugh while you can. Forgive while you can. 'Cause tomorrow is never promised. Matthew was my 24-hour miracle. And I will never forget him. If this story touched your heart, subscribe and stay with me for more love tales that will make you laugh, cry, and believe again. Until next time, cherish your 24 hours.